Changing minds one thought at a time.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Change Your Minds Online Empowering Women series. How are you doing today, Jessica?
I am doing fantastic. It is a beautiful day in here in New York, and I am so excited for this call tonight.
Yes, I am too. I am so excited to introduce one of my favorite people, Miss Stacy Walker. She is the CEO of Woman in Leadership. And today we're going to be talking about finding your inner strength to achieve your goals. How are you doing today, Stacy?
I am doing fantastic. It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Jessica and Akina, for letting me spend some time with you today, and, of course, the listeners.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And I love your title, Finding Your Inner Strength to Achieve Your Goals. Tell us more about that.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to share, with, of course, you and the listeners and Jessica, basically 5 practical ways to find our inner strength to achieve our goals, whether it's our business goals or our personal goals, because both are equally important. Just because we do, most of us work and, we have goals to achieve, whether it's in our private life or our business life. And, specifically our daily lives as entrepreneurs can be a constant roller coaster of ups and downs, and, that roller coaster ride isn't always fun, if you know what I mean. And over the years, I experienced and witnessed how crucial it is for us to really reach inside and find that inner strength during those dark moments in life, because we must do this to make sure we continue on the path to conquer our successes in our business and our private lives. And what I'm sharing today is something that, is included in one of my training modules, and it's something that I love sharing just because it can help someone who has their own business or who is still working in the corporate world, because it's equally as important. You want me to continue?
So, yes, please.
Okay,
I'm super fascinated right now.
Oh, well, fantastic, because I'm so excited about this topic. And, in the 5 practical ways that you can find your inner strength, they're pretty easy to do. It's just a matter of us implementing it and doing it, because it's one thing to say we're going to do something, and it's another thing to actually take action and do those things and start seeing the changes that we want to see in order to achieve any goal. And the first one that I'd like to really bring up first, Akina and Jessica, is that one thing that's very important, and this is whether you're in business for yourself or not, is to find a mentor or a coach, because if you really look around you, for example, successful people have mentors or a coach. If you look to, like, the sports industry, like the NBA, NFL, Olympics, those are very successful athletes, and they're high-profile athletes for a reason. It's because they have mentors or coaches, and they know they can't achieve their goals alone. And this applies to us, too, and basically a coach or mentor can help us find our inner strength, because a good coach or a mentor is a person who is on the outside looking in. So a good coach or mentor has been most likely through what you've been through. Like, if you dig deep, it's not hard to find, a mentor or a coach, because we have this wonderful thing called the internet, and, those barriers are really broken down to where we can find what we want tailor-made to our want, to whatever we want it, to find a mentor or coach. And it's so important to invest in ourselves. I mean, if you think about it, every day we're paying someone else, whether it's our mortgage, the grocery store, paying our phone bill. What about ourselves? Why not pay ourselves first? That way we can work on our inner strengths. And, if you want to achieve your goals in life or your business, then we must invest in a mentor or coach. And I know you have heard this a million times, and now, me saying this is the millions and one time that I'm mentioning this. And there's a reason we all hear this message over and over again. And, actually I did a survey. I think you're aware of it, Akina, during one of my webinars. Like, a recent survey of mine revealed that most people don't have a mentor or coach who are new to the entrepreneurial world. And it was shocking. But I was also not surprised, because it's a direct relation to why so many people are not achieving their goals, not just in their business, but also their personal lives. And a lot of people are afraid to invest in a mentor or coach, and it's either one or two reasons. It's either they can't think they can afford it, or they don't want to look in the mirror. And I can relate to that, because I personally went through those two, and I came to discover that there are so many people that have those two basic fears. And, our mentors or our coaches are there to support us. They will help us stretch our comfort zone. We don't have to directly jump out of it right away, but they can help push us and guide us along in order to see inside our strengths that we have, because we sometimes look at the negatives, and we need to always remember every single day that we wake up that we have strengths and we have something of value to share with somebody in the world, and if we only look at our negatives, then that's pretty detrimental to us achieving our goals. So a mentor can help you move forward and look at those positive things that we do in our lives, that we have something of value.
Yes, I mean, when I was in my doctorate program, my mentor was so important. I mean, before I was just kind of floating, but as soon as I got my mentor, they helped me get right on track. They showed me the way. I stopped running in circles because I had a clear path. That mentor is that person who's been there, done that. And so we need, as entrepreneurs, to start working smarter, not harder. Let someone else help you. We can't do it all of us by ourselves. We, professional, successful entrepreneurs, collaborate. And that is what the mentor is going to help you do. I mean, oh my goodness, as soon as I got my mentor, the sky was the limit, and it was just all upward mobility after that. So I totally relate to what you're saying. What about you, Jess?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have several mentors, and, for many of you know, I am training an aspiring athlete, and I have a coach. I have a fitness coach, and I have not only that, but I have a running coach, and I also have someone I pay for personal training to help me with muscle development. We have business coaches. Akina and I have a business coach even for this. We have people we work with to tell us how to best serve our people. I have a business coach for my direct sales, and mentors are so important. And don't think that mentorship has to be very expensive. I mean, certainly some of the mentors I've invested in, I've paid for. But in the same sense, remember that there's so many people, and like Stacey said, the Internet makes things so accessible. You could do really practical things. Like Akina said, we collaborate as entrepreneurs. Join a mastermind group. We have a mastermind group. I have a mastermind group where we invite people into our group, and we will discuss things about how to get ahead. And when you put intentions forth as a group, they're just so much more powerful. And it's about collaborating and sharing your network and sharing your resources and your knowledge. And those things are really important. And having a mentor is really just absolutely critical. If you can't afford to pay someone, whatever it is per hour to coach you, there are so many wonderful books that were written. I mean, most of my mentors have books out, and I mean, for like a $20 investment, you can learn from these people. And you know, you can go to the library if you can't even afford the $20. Go to the library; it's free. I mean, most libraries now have audiobooks you can get on your smartphones and listen to while you're working out or driving or just getting ready for work. You know, you can access this, and it is as abundant and prevalent. So a mentor is just something everybody should have. And, you know, I'm committed to spending a minimum of 2 hours a day reading. And all of the time I'm reading, I'm constantly, like, looking at people who are successful, you know, reading from Donald Trump and Warren Buffett, you know, reading from right now I'm reading in our book group, we're reading The Art of War by Sun Tzu, and all of these people have such valuable things they've written down that they can share for us. So Stacey, it's so important to have a mentor, and that really will help you find your inner strength and help you find your purpose.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And Jessica, you mentioned about support groups, and that's actually my number 2 on my list. And I totally agree with you about mastermind groups, because I know you and Kina know that support groups will lift us up and encourage us to achieve our goals. And, you know, I'm a total introvert, but I realize the value in joining support groups. And, you know, anyone listening, you might be in a situation where you can't get out. And I've been in that situation. Kina knows I was bedridden when I built my business. You know, I literally built it from my bed, so I had to find support groups online, people who were also bedridden and were building businesses online. And that helped me get through. That helped me build a successful business literally from my bed, which was amazing. And I never even considered doing that prior to me leaving the corporate world. And, you know, again, I stress we live in a time when we can use technology to our benefit. And the reason why I think support groups and a mentor are so important for anyone that does not have either, sometimes your friends and family will not be your best means of support because they won't understand, you know, what you're going through. I've heard story after story after story of talented women with so much potential to succeed at whatever they choose, whatever their heart desires. But their friends and their own friends and their own family, people that truly love them, like to discourage them. And they do this either intentionally or unintentionally, and this can be very discouraging. I've had one client, she totally dropped doing what she was doing just because her husband was discouraging her parents, her children, and she went back and not forward. But I kept on stressing that she needs to surround herself around people that will encourage her to get her through those times, because no matter at what level we're in or even how many dollars are in our bank account, we always need a support group. Because we always go through those, we always hit those walls. Whether they're internal struggles to reach that next step. We all experienced it. So support groups are so important, you know. And what I learned over the years, you know, your support group, you have, collaborating with other people. You're working on achieving similar goals. And some are having personal struggles that you can help them with, and vice versa. It's amazing how much synergy can happen within a mastermind group or a support group. And there's so many great suggestions, things that we couldn't even think of on our own. And that's why I love masterminds, because it is like a mastermind. You know, you put more than two or more people together, ideas are like just flying left and right, you know, that you just could not produce on your own. So, and you know, support groups will help you build that confidence that you need to continue to move forward, because they know you can do it, and you're not alone. So I'm really big on personal development, because I had a lot, you know, I do still go through it to where I have internal battles with not giving myself enough credit when it should be due, because I work my butt off. But I still have that negative self-talk, and when I get to that point, that's when I know I need to go to a support group.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really great. I love to be part of groups. I'm going to actually just be open for a little bit of for one moment. I'm going to be completely truthful. I've actually always had an issue with the title support group. I don't like support groups. I like empowerment groups and I like mastermind groups, but I don't like support groups. Now, I actually was born with like a neurological disorder, and I've been open about this before. And, many times my doctors have said, like, well, here, go to this support group. And, I don't do support groups. For me, supporting group means, like, I get supporting each other through an issue, but I like empowerment groups. I like when you said, like, mastermind groups, when people are bouncing ideas off of each other and setting intentions and just raising it. And, if you study, energy and you study, vibrational energy, when you put two minds together, you actually have 4 different units you're creating, because you each have your independent units and then you have the shared unit between both of you. And if you put, 4 people together, then that's 16. It gets squared all the time. Every time you add a new person, 5 people, your mastermind is equivalent to 25. And I love, love, love those groups. I have them. I participate in them. I've just always had an issue, with saying support. And, I guess you can say it's a bit of semantics, but I guess kind of what I would want to just say to our listeners is just make sure that the group that you're in are people who, like Stacey said, are looking to empower you and make things better. Like she said, she was bedridden and she went, I'm assuming Facebook groups. That's a great, great way to just, collaborate. A lot of the guests that we've brought on these calls, we've met through Facebook groups. And it's such an amazing way to collaborate with like-minded people. And, on that note, you like Stacey, like you said, your friends and your family, that can be difficult. Oftentimes your family and your friends, they've seen you at your worst. They've seen you before you made the choice. And they're going to be the first ones to say, like, hey, you can't do that. Remember what you used to be like. And it's very difficult when people are that close to you to convince them you've made a change. And on that note, when it comes to your friends, the people that you spend the most time with are the people that you're going to be like. And Akina and I had this discussion the other night, and in a moment I'll just kind of leave her to share what she shared with me on the phone in a private conversation. But, the people, you have to be so selective over who you are giving your time. Your time is so valuable. If you value yourself, you value your time. And write this down, if you don't value your time, you don't value yourself. And at the end of the day, if you are giving someone of your time, make sure they're worthy of your time. Don't spend time chasing people around who are not like-minded. The Bible tells us, the Scriptures tells us that you should be equally yoked with your partner. And, that in the image it's talking about biblically, it's speaking about a romantic relationship. But it's also true as your friends. If you're not on the same path, the same vision, it doesn't make sense. Make sure that the people you're surrounding yourself with are people who are also seeking to live, the life as the same way. I mean, not the same necessarily goals, but people who are looking for things from life. If you want to value your time, don't hang out with people that don't, because they'll wind up doing things, they'll wind up bringing you places that are not going to benefit you. And Akina, what was it that you shared with me the other day? You had this amazing this amazing thing that really made me think when you shared it with me.
Yes. I was watching Oprah's Life class, and of course T.D. Jakes was one of the speakers that day, and he said, it's okay to have different types of friends, but your inner circle needs to be on the same level as you. And what that means is, if you are running a business and I am this person who functions at night and is excited and just want to talk about it and can run at any hour of the night, you don't want someone in your inner circle who works from 9 to 5 and that's it, because you'll drive them crazy. So having somebody who works on your same level and in your inner circle can only build your creativity up. And that's what I thought that was great, because, yes, you need different types of opinions, but when you're in your creative mode, you need someone with that same energy and drive that y'all can just drive it home together. You know, you don't want to bring anybody out of their complete comfort zone if you don't have to.
Right.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Absolutely. That makes
Yeah,
total
I mean,
sense.
just the other day, like, talking about a time thing, I mean, Akina and I, we both wake up early because we're entrepreneurs, and I think entrepreneurs really should wake up early. Like, if you're sleeping till 10 o'clock, you're not an entrepreneur. I hate to tell you that, but you're just not. But I know, like, Akina and I, we do our planning calls, and I think it's, 6:30 your time, Akina. And, like, by then I'm already done with my breakfast, my run, my meditation, and planning and organizing my day. And we get on the phone and we talk. And, recently I had a friend of mine said, like, hey, can I ask your advice on this? And he wanted me to read something for him and go over it. And I said, sure, no problem. And he's like, all right, well, what time can you talk? And I'm like, well, I could talk at 7. He's like, 7? Are you crazy? I mean, he's like, I'm sleeping at 7. And I'm like, well, what about 8? And he's like, 8 o'clock? He's like, it's a weekend. And I'm like, okay, oh, my goodness, like, this is someone I would never be able to have in my business. And he actually asked me a couple weeks back, like prior to this, because he also claims to be an entrepreneur, although I don't know, because if he's sleeping that late, I think Stacy and Akina and I will all tell you that you're not sleeping that much if you're an entrepreneur. But
no, not at all.
Yeah, he asked me. He's like, well, why aren't we in business together? And I was like, well, that's why, because we're not like-minded. We might have similar ideas, but we're not. You may not be willing to do what I'm willing to do to make it work. And that's the thing is that, this all goes back to finding your inner purpose, finding your inner power. And like what Stacy said originally, you have to do what it takes to make it work. Like, setting intentions are great. You can set an intention, but if you don't take action to make that intention come true, it's not going to happen. Like, it doesn't this materialize. Intentions, you can't just say, like, I intend for $1 million appear in my bank account, and it's not a magic wand that you wave in a magic wand and poof, and like abracadabra, the rabbit comes out of the hat. That's just not how it works. You need to follow your intentions up with actions, right? Even, again, going back to the scriptures, faith without works is dead. And really, at the end of the day, you need to set an intention, but you need to back it up by doing what it takes to get what you want.
Absolutely. And you don't have to really do a lot. I mean, if you just do a little bit at a time, because I know a lot of people just need to stretch their comfort zone. They don't have to just jump out of it. And, you two are so right about finding people that are like-minded. And a friend of mine said it right. She said that she will not go to a group unless everybody in the room is smarter than her, because she knows she will learn something. And I'm talking about positive people that can help her excel, in her business and her life. And that's so true. We surround ourselves around positive people who have strengths that we might be weak in. It's good to surround ourselves around them, because they'll kind of rub off on us, so to speak, especially if we look inside and say, you know what, I could do this too. Because it's amazing how much we can do when we put our mind to it and make those actions. And it's not like you have to work yourself to death. It's just actually starting. We have to learn how to crawl, walk before we run. So it's a learning process, and it's a step-by-step thing. And it's definitely attainable, and nothing's impossible in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really is all about balance, and it is like you said. I mean, I'm a firm believer that you need to live a little bit outside your comfort zone. And like you said, you're not necessarily, going on a cruise ship and jumping off into the middle of the ocean, because that's just not going to work. But you do need to get your feet wet. And if you're just sitting on the sand and watching the waves, that's also just not going to happen. And right now my Facebook status says, if you go on my page, it says, my goal is to be a little better every day. And that's really what it comes down to, and finding that really appropriate balance for you between what you're willing to do to really get what you want. And everyone is willing to do something different, and that is okay. Everyone needs more time or less personal time. And it really depends on the situation you're in. Like, Stacey, I know you're a mother, you have children. Well, I'm not. I'm single and I live on my own, and I'm only supporting myself. And, I come home and I have 3 pet guinea pigs, but there's no one else vying for my attention when I walk in the door. So if I, one day I'm really not feeling that tired and maybe I took a rest the day before, I might be able to work through the evening and I might be able to really not have any time for anyone else. But chances are, you need to devote time to your kids and to your husband every night when when they come home, and you want to give them that time. So it's not the same for everybody, and what does work for everyone really can be different. And that's
right.
Again, like going back to those mentors and going back to those groups and mastermind groups. That's why collaboration amongst entrepreneurs is so important. And don't try and reinvent the wheel. Like, bounce ideas off of people. Ask people for help with projects that you did. I wanted to do something like this, Changing a Man's Online series. It was something I was really passionate about. And Akina and I, we met on Facebook. And, I've shared this before. We've still never met in person. We're going to meet this summer. But Akina and I have still never met in person. We met via Facebook. She had an idea. I wanted to do something, and we put it together, and look at what's come up. We've just been able to touch thousands of people, almost 100,000 people, in the last few months through our group. And it's just been such a privilege and opportunity.
Absolutely. That's amazing. I'm big on collaboration, too, because we can't do it alone, whether it's in our personal life or business life. And I know some of us don't like to reach out to people, but all in all, it's human nature for us to do that, So there's nothing wrong with it, and there's plenty of people that will be more than happy to help you. I'm big on abundance, that there's no lack of anything, that there's enough for everybody, but we have to be willing to go after what we want to do. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And another thing that can help us, look on the inside and find that inner strength, and it's one of my favorites, by far one of my favorites. It's journaling, and there's 2 ways that you can do this. I know not everyone has a knack for the pen. I do, but I have also another suggestion. Like, if you're a person that likes to write, that's a great way to find your strength. Also identify your weaknesses and come up with solutions. Me writing every single day, I go through this process to where I find solutions to whatever's going on with my day, and it keeps me on track. And, I know of some people who publicly journal by posting their thoughts on a blog, and they get feedback from their audience. Also know others who keep their journals to themselves, and I do both. And also another idea, like, if you don't want to write, I know sometimes people don't like to write, and I understand that, is to maybe use a recorder and just maybe brain dump. If you're having strong emotions one day, or you're having a bad day, or you're having a wonderful day, kind of dig in and express yourself, get it all out, because if you go back and read or listen to what you documented, you will find solutions. You will see where you're strong. You'll see what you can do to keep progressing. It's amazing how that does, because you're actually taking a look. You're looking at a record of yourself. And, it doesn't have to be scripted or anything. It's just whatever comes out, and that really helps. I know it's, like I said, it's challenging for some people to write, but another suggestion, like I said, is to just go ahead and just get your phone, or a voice recorder, and just let it all out. And it's up to you if you want to share it with others or not.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know Akina and I do both journal, and it is actually just about 9:30, so we do have to close the call in a minute. Akina, is there? I know we didn't get to finish all of the 5 things, but we always end the call at 9:30, and we try to keep consistent for all of our listeners. But we will definitely, Stacey, if you could maybe send us those 5 things, and we can post them on our site with this recording for everyone, the ones we didn't get to.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely. I'll be more than happy to.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you so much. And Akina, is there anything you wanted to add on what was just said before we close the call?
Well, Stacey, if someone is touched by something that you said today, how would they be able to get in contact with you?
Well, they can basically go to my virtual home at staciewalker.com, and that's STACIEWALKER.com. I can't even spell my own name. But you can call me by Skype, email me, leave a voice recording. I'm very accessible to my audience. Keena knows this, that I always have time for anyone that may need my help in one way, shape, or form. And I'm also on social media, Twitter, my favorite place to be, and my handle is on Twitter at staciewalker.com.
Well, thank you so much, Stacey, for coming.
Thank
we
you.
Appreciate
it's an
you.
honor. I appreciate you too, and you have a wonderful evening. And thanks again. And I will send this over once we get out of here, all the 5, and I look forward to connecting with y'all even further.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And we would love to hear, maybe we can have a little dialogue right on our page. There's a comments section there, so everyone please use it, and we can continue talking about the rest of the things. We can have that discussion right on our page.
Absolutely.
But on that note, thank you everyone for calling in tonight. We love you. God bless. Have a great week, a great weekend, and we look forward to hearing you or seeing you on Sunday on our Empowering Women, on our regular Changing Minds Online call.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.